Hi everyone! With my birthday quest in full swing, I thought it would be fun to do a little behind the scenes video of how these themes are put together. This video will deal with the mysterious musical alphabet codes. Composers have been converting words into notes for centuries. Bach is probably the most famous example. He takes the letters of his last name, B-A-C-H, and using the key conventions of the time, B is equal to B flat and H is equal to B natural, resulting in these four notes. To make a musical alphabet code, one just needs to create a system where you convert specific letters into pitches. This can be a very strict system where one letter equals a very specific pitch, or it can be more flexible where you have a series of options. An example of a strict musical alphabet code is using a chromatic scale assigning one letter per pitch, and then you would cycle back when you run out of notes. So starting with the note C, this could be the letter A. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Then you go back to M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, and then Y and Z. A more flexible type of code will assign a letter name, but not necessarily an accidental. So you can start on the note A and assign that to the letter A, and then cycle back when you run out of notes. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Go back to the beginning for H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So in that case, you have a note to work with, but you can choose whether or not you want to use it in its natural form, or sharp, or flat. There's so many elements that go into creating a great melody, but one of them on the micro level is direction or functionality. One of the best examples of this is Annie's theme from Day 8, where her last name gave me these pitches. This is absolutely perfect because it outlines a dominant 7 chord going to 1 in the key of B flat major. It doesn't get much more perfect than that. A more complicated but equally perfect example is Cory's theme from Day 10. I used her entire name through my musical alphabet code and got these pitches. If you take all those notes at face value and don't try to do anything fancy, what you have is an arpeggio of a C major 7, resolving to F, and then you have these notes in A flat, and then the F and B outline a G dominant 7 chord. So if you're in the key of C major and take the direct approach, what you get is a 1, going to 4, flat 6, which becomes a German augmented 6, resolving to 5. Not only Schubert and Schumann, but even Mozart and Beethoven were doing that sort of stuff. Another valuable element to have in the micro is some sort of imitation. Take Katie's theme from Day 44. You can hear that the end of the melody imitates the beginning of the melody, and that also helps break it up into phrases. Cory's theme from Day 10 that I just played also fits that bill. The end of that, which matches. Without a doubt, for me, the biggest secret and most important element to having a great melody is something that's important not only in music, but also in literature and poetry as well, and that is antecedent consequent, call and response, action and reaction, having a two-part structure. Let's take Cory's theme from Day 10 again, where the second half is a great response to the first half. There's the first part, and then there are several elements that make that second half such a great complement to the first half. But to give you a few examples, you have the imitation between the first part of the first half and the first part of the second half. And you also have imitation between the second part of the first half and the second part of the second half. Also, the theme starts here on the C, and then the theme ends down to below where it started. Then an even better secret to writing great melodies, each of those big halves can be split into its own two-part phrase. So let's take the first half. You have the first part and the second part, which creates its own antecedent and consequent. Same thing with the second half. So you have two two-part phrases which comprise this entire theme. To show you how important this two-part structure can be in making a great melody, let's take material that on its face doesn't really seem that exciting. This is Sarah's theme from day 35, and her musical alphabet code gave me these pitches. That material on its own isn't going to win any Grammys, but there are actually several hidden gems in that tiny little melody. Most importantly, it has a clear call and answer, antecedent, consequent structure. And when I break up the melody in that way, you can hear it very clearly. Next, we have some mirror image imitation. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Finally, there's clear harmonic direction buried in those 7 little notes. Here's a 5-9 going to 1. And then here's another 5 going to a minor 1. I'll give one last example of how these elements can take otherwise ordinary material and make it fantastic. We'll use Sasha's material from day 38. This was using her full name through a musical alphabet code, and here's the material it generated. First, this melody has harmonic purpose. If you take the key notes in this theme, it outlines an F major 7 chord. Next, as you already hear, there's tons of imitation, and it works out perfectly because it's divided between her first name and her last name. And as you already hear just from the way I'm playing it, it has a clear 2-part structure, and again, it works perfectly because it's divided between her first name and her last name. But then each of those halves has its own 2-part structure. Here's the first half, and the second half. So once again, we have two-part phrases which comprise the theme. And then in the ultimate bonus, the last 3 notes from that theme, generated from the letters in Sasha's name, match the key motive from a song in Mahler's Rückert that Sasha and I did together at Juilliard. But even if material generated from a musical alphabet code doesn't make a great melody, there are other ways you can use it in the right circumstances. Here's Sarah's name from day 50, generated from the last name I knew her by during our IU days. I'll play that one more time. Even though there are some elements of imitation, they're either immediate or random, and there are some harmonic implications, but they really aren't very useful. But if we take this otherwise meandering material and group some notes together, we get this. So now we have imitation with a purpose, and harmonic implications as well. Also, we have a 2-part theme. We've got time for one last example, and we'll use Steve from day 49. Here's the material generated through my musical alphabet code. These are the letters in his first name. Again, the material tends to meander a bit. You can divide it into 2 parts, but it's really not that compelling. But when you group the notes together, you get this. Now you've got some harmonic material that can be used in so many different ways. So a lot of it has to do with your imagination. I take the material that's given to me and I try to use it in the most effective and creative way to make a theme that is a great fit for the person I'm writing for. Plus, this is just step 1. Once you have that melodic hook, you have to think about how you want to harmonize it, what groove or style you want to use, and if you want to add anything else on top of it. I hope you all enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at how I use these different musical alphabet codes. Watch out for my next video, which will go into how I use musical quotes in these themes. Thanks so much, everybody, and take care.